The 2x2 Rubik's Cube is incredibly easy to solve. In this video, I'm going to show you a super efficient way I use to solve my cubes that includes OLL and PLL from the 3x3. So if you are familiar with the beginner CFOP method for 3x3, this is going to be really easy to learn because all of the OLLs and PLLs that are used in beginner method for 3x3 CFOP are also used in the 2x2 method that I use. So it's going to be very easy if you're familiar with the 3x3 before you go on to the 2x2. But if you don't know the 3x3, it is also okay to learn 2x2 first. PLO cases that you need to know in 2x2 are T-perm, which is when there's two solved, and there's also Y-perm that you need to know. And those are the only two PLO cases that you need to know, as well as the 7 OLO cases that are covered in 3x3. Okay, so the first step, just like 3x3, is going to be to solve the top layer. And that is really easy on the 2x2 because it's almost exactly the same as 3x3, basically uses the same algorithms. And so like the 3x3, we're going to try to solve the first layer on the bottom. Now this is very easy to do. So we're just going to look for corners that have white on them, and we can go ahead and find, okay, so I have this one right here, and these two colors seem to match up, and just from experience, I know that if I put this in the back and rotate this twice, that I can go ahead and get a edge pair right there. And I also know that if I were to go up and over, that would insert this edge pair without obstructing this pair. So there are a few cases that you need to know for this. Some little algorithms are the same as 3x3. Basically, they're just up, insert, over. And sometimes you'll have it when it's like this, and you can just go up, over, down, and then you can easily insert that by going over, up, over, down. Okay, so this first case I have is a super simple algorithm. So this first case is when there's two yellows that are on top and they're paired up, and there's two yellows that are not facing up on the sides that are parallel to each other. So the way you want to hold this is with the paired on the right and the unpaired on the left. And the super easy algorithm for this is you're going to rotate the cube so we have the white in front and the yellow on the back. And we're going to go down, over, up, over, up, over. And that will give us this OLL. The next case that I have is when there's two facing towards me and two facing away from me, and they're both paired up right here. And there's no yellow on either of the right or left sides. So you want to hold it with two pairs facing towards you and two pairs facing away from you. And the algorithm for this is we're going to go over and up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. Then we can go ahead and rotate that back up, and that's going to give us another OLL. Okay, so next we have this case when there's two corners facing opposite of each other, and then we have two that are not facing up and they're kind of facing up like this. So you want to hold it as where I have this diagonal, so it's going from left to right, and one yellow piece facing towards you on the closest corner to you on the right. And the algorithm for this is this. So another algorithm that you might run in, or another case you might run into, is this, where we have no yellow corners on top, and we have two that are paired up and two that are not, and they're parallel to each other. So the way you want to hold this is with the parallel on the right and the two solved ones on the left. And the algorithm for this is up, over 2, up, 2, over, up, 2, over, up, 2, over, 2, up. And that will give you that super simple OLL. Okay, so our next OLL case is going to be where we have paired up two, and we have two that are paired up but not facing on top like we need that to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to rotate it so that the two that are paired up and on top are on the right, and the two that aren't are on the left. And we can just go ahead and do this super easy algorithm. So we're gonna go over, up, over, down, over, and bring that back up, and that's going to solve the yellow top layer for us. Okay, so the final two algorithms are when we have just one facing up, and we're gonna look for what piece we have that face towards us with this on the front. So basically what that means is, like right now, I have this piece that faces up and this piece that faces towards me. So that tells me what I want to happen. So basically, since I have this facing on top, I'm gonna look for, well no, this one doesn't face towards me, but this one does. So that means that I'm gonna do this algorithm on this side, and this algorithm would be up, over, down, over, up, over twice, and down. Okay, so our final OLL case is where we have the mirrored one of the last OLL case. So it's basically, we don't have the yellow that faces us on the left side, we have the yellow that faces us on the right side. Remember, keep the yellow that faces up where it needs to go, facing up on top and in the front row when you do these algorithms. So this one is basically exactly the same, it's just mirrored in a sense. So basically the algorithm for this is going to be the exact same, so it's just up, over, down, over, up, over twice, and down. And if you did all those correctly, then you should end up with the yellow top layer solved. Now the last step for what we need to do is basically solve the whole cube, which is PLL, or permutation of the last layer. So basically right here, I noticed that I have two that are paired up and two that aren't. So this is what we call a T-perm. And basically the algorithm for this is we're going to put the two that are paired up on the left side and just go correctly, then you have solved the cube. And the other final PLL case is when we have none that are paired up. So we have none that are paired up, but we have this corner that needs to flip with this corner. So this would be called a Y-perm, and this is this algorithm. So it's over, up, over, down, over, up, over, down, over. And then we have up, over, down, over, down, over. And if you did all those steps correctly, then congratulations, and you've solved your first 2x2 Rubik's Cube.